So I'm here with Hive magazine backstage at King Tut's with Dictator, lads. How are we getting on?
What's happening? We're alright, we're buzzing, it's freezing outside, so we've just been outside, we came back in. Let me close this door, but Joe, you can tell them how we're getting on.
I'm getting on brilliant, man.
Oh, well, as we close the door, of course we are here at King Tut's for just a good night of music. The first thing I do want to ask though, it's kind of one thing I always put in my reviews whenever I talk about playing at King Tut's. Whenever you come in here, you see all those names on that staircase. How is that like playing here? How is that? Does that like factor in at all when you think of that? Because whenever I come here, it is the first thing I think of.
I know, big time. There's that. Cheers, Joe. Joe doesn't think much about it, but I know it is. It's 100% a factor. We've been lucky enough to play King Tut's a couple of times, and there's just something. It's like there's so many like famous people who have played this, right? Acts who are like massive, but also like when we were younger, we would come and see some of our favourite artists here. Folk like the Strokes, and like there's names on that stair that are just like, what, they've played here? And of course, this is like the place to play in Glasgow. It's steeped in history, so I wish we could say like, no, it's fine, just brush it off, but it is. But it's a factor. It's why we love playing here.
Yeah, and you mentioned obviously coming here when you were younger. What are some of the highlights of King Tut's throughout your years of coming here?
Oh, I've never been here. I'm just lying. No, I'm only joking. So there was a couple. I think we've seen the Snuts here, like just before they took off. They were playing Transmit, and we came here. That was amazing because we knew them. There's been quite a few, like the secret shows. So the Lathams played just after Transmit this year as well. See things like that. I think that's been my highlights. Being part of like, I don't know, a secretive part. What about you, Joe?
No, it's about. What was the question? Just who's played here?
Who's your highlights?
Who's your favourites you've seen at King Tut's?
I like seeing. I'm trying to think who I've seen here, man. I don't think I've actually.
Joe's never been here.
Actually, he's never been. Joe's never been here.
I thought it's very local.
Japan
bands.
4.
I don't think I've seen any big bands. Like, I'm just trying to think of any big bands I've seen here. I don't think.
Luis Capaldi played here. Do you know come to that one?
Nah, I didn't make that yet.
Joe's a lazy bastard. Right? He just doesn't ever come to any gigs. We're the wrong people to get interviewed. No, but genuinely, we've been lucky to play a few festivals here as well. And like again, it's just the collective. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. All of it.
So with that as well, you obviously mentioned playing some festivals. It's been quite a busy year playing quite a lot of festivals this year. I mean, I would just open Twitter every week, it felt like, and another festival going. What's that been like, just being kind of non-stop this year, it seems?
It's amazing, man. It's hectic, but hectic in a good way. So like one of the weirdest things about being in a band, right, is the logistical challenges, which you never think about when you're in. But like, there's a lot of like, they get in a van and driving, and like there's a thing where you just slingshot, so you go down, play the gig, and you come back up. But that means like you're up at the crack of dawn, and you're heading at the crack of dawn, and you're just like, everything's just a blur, and you're like, what the hell's going on? But it's amazing, mate. Like there's a couple of, see, when you play a festival, you literally turn up at the festival site, you get your accreditation, you drive up to the stage, and then within like an hour, you're normally on the stage. But you have this like wee micro dose of all the festival activities. You get the food, you get the drink, you go for a wander, you get the buzz, and then the next thing you know, you're like, oh, I'm actually playing. Yeah. And then you just jump on, and I don't know, it's like, it doesn't seem to matter how many times you do it. It's just an amazing experience.
And I'll not get you to rank them. I'll not make you put someone at the bottom. But of all the festivals you have played this year, what's been the one that's stuck in your mind the most?
We can start at the bottom if you want. No, we're joking. I mean,
an exclusive.
Exactly. No, for me, there was a couple of ones. So like, we played Why Not, right? Why Not? That was our first ever proper festival we played a few years ago, and I remember it was the Twin Atlantic were playing, right? And they're our nemesis band because they stole the whole crowd for the tent. But it was pissing down with rain, and basically what happened is nobody wanted to leave the tent to come to us, and so like we ended up, it was still busy enough, but it wasn't as busy as it should have been. Went back this year, and it was like a round the circle. It was like, yes, because it was amazing, and we just got amazing crowd interaction. Outside of that, Joe?
Do you know, I was actually going to say Why Not, but because you did, I'll go for Transmit.
Yep.
I like looking at gigs like bucket list things rather than how the show goes. So as long as I can say I've played Transmit, then I'm happy.
Aye,
so you're happy then? That Transmit was amazing. That is the cultural festival to play in Scotland, and to get on it was class.
Yeah. Now I suppose we then should talk about the start of the year then, as we've been busy the whole year, but we released the EP back in January at the start of the year. I remember I was going down on a bus to Newcastle like 2 days before it came out, just making sure my review was finished. So shout out Alfie Clark, and shout out Ian Robertson, shout out Sam Land for the magazine, because we went to Newcastle for Neck Deep and get steaming. Nice. But what was that like, getting that EP out and finally getting out to the world?
It's amazing, man, because it feels like a lifetime ago. But like, I don't know, there'll be defining points when you do stuff that you kind of feel like things start clicking into place. And Middle of the Road felt like a click. It felt like a notch up, because then people seem to resonate more with what we were doing, but also the music we made, which, by the way, it's probably like the least we've overthought anything. We just done it. We just done it. We didn't try and do anything. We just done it. And it just kind of clicked. And then like El Nino, the song we released the start of the year, that's by far our most successful song we've ever released, and people really resonate to it, which is amazing. And I don't know, it feels good because like it was just a wee EP we done, the tunes, and then for people to resonate that and like it lead to this, and it took us to, like, we were in New York and Paris and all that for songs that we'd done as a collection to put that, and I'm like, what is going on?
That, actually, I was going to get to that later. But no. But I will go back to, obviously, New York. That was a whole. I saw, obviously, the fundraising, the buying the merch, the getting the gigs to get you out to New York, and obviously we did make it. What was that experience like? One, I guess, the uncertainty and the nonsense and the hecticness of getting there. But then, what was that like when you actually managed to get there and do it?
Dodgiest part was getting through the border, right? And Joe nearly got his phone taken off him because Joe.
Oh, I've had a gun held up to my back pretty much, so. Like I say, with bucket list, man, that's definitely up there. Apparently, you can't film inside the airports, which I found out the hard way is a big security man with an AK-47 stood over my shoulder and watched me delete any pictures that I had on my phone. So it was start as you mean to continue, you know what I mean? And it was good.
Outside of that, it was amazing. It was just, everything's really dead expensive in New York. Everything's $20. Like, I got a $1 slice of pizza, paid £8 for it, and I was like, that doesn't even make any sense to me. But I genuinely, the actual gigs themselves was one day where we left at like 6 a.m. and played a gig that night in New York time, 9 o'clock, which I think was 2 or 3 in the morning our time.
Yeah.
Wildest day I think we've ever had as a band. Yeah. We didn't know. I don't know how we played the gig. It was amazing. It was the best gig we had out of the 3 shows we done over there, and it was just outstanding. So, but the weird thing, being in like the middle of New York, because your stupid wee tunes have got you to there, is mental. That's mind blowing.
And is there any plans to get back to America, provided Joe doesn't start taking photos in the airport again?
Absolutely not. Not right now until you get sorted out. Because one, it's too expensive, and two, I don't think we might get arrested at the border and just chucked into a nice detention camp. So,
yeah, fair. That's
right now, no. But right now, no. In a few years, when everything settles down,
and Joe's learned his lesson.
I've got no intention of going back in.
But it's brilliant.
So anyway, back to Middle of the Road. One of my favourite songs on there is HL7, obviously named after an iconic man, one of the greatest and coolest men of all time, Henrik Larsson. What was obviously I kind of wrote about it in the magazine for my review, go read that. Obviously the inspiration was just feeling cool and thinking about the coolest man you could think of being Henrik Larsson. But as you said, you didn't really overthink this EP. Was it just purely you were looking at photos of Henrik and went, I might be like him?
I wish it, honestly, man, I think you end up like, if you ever do music, you have to think an angle, right? You have to I'll get asked by what's the angle for this, Michael? What are you writing about? I just played a tune, just got this wee tune, and I was like, this sounds class, it sounds really cool. And it was like, this like got a swagger to it. Who's the coolest guy we know? And it was like, right, Henrik. It has to be Henrik. This is our moment to write a song about Henrik. And then I think I tried to I did start there and then wrote a tune. And it was about when he broke his leg, and I was like, I'm going to harness that and get in, and that's like, he came back and he was even better. And it was that kicked me down 1,000 times. So there's a loose connection there, but HL7 just seemed to fit the music as well. And I don't know, man. We were like initially got to do Graham Shinney, but we just thought that HL7 just sounded better.
Fair enough. And I mean, that is now 2 songs in 2 years about the coolest football player an artist knows. Obviously, Miles Kane wrote Baggio. So what's the big prediction for the next big cool football player tune? Who you thinking? What are you saying, Joe?
Oh, a wee Tenecchi number?
Tenecchi.
Oh, Sriracha. I'm really liking Sriracha, and I reckon that would be a great song title as well.
I think the Parliamo boys, one of them know a big Falkirk bairn. Like,
I think
fan.
they are, they know.
Well,
I mean, maybe it's
Airdrie. But I thought one of them had done. One's a Falkirk fan, so Parliamo writing a tune about Scott Arfield, right? That's it. I've heard the rumour that's actually happening, right?
So we're dropping exclusives for every band under the sun. It seems it's crazy. Last couple of wee things I just want to end up on. One of the big things, I guess, a kind of theme of my writing throughout for Hive magazine is I always like to talk about like Scottish and Irish bands because I was born in Scotland, grew up in Ireland, and I love kind of shouting out bands from where I'm from. Obviously, I've taken a big shine to you guys. I love you guys' music. That's very evident if you read anything I've ever wrote. But who are some of the bands coming up out now around, or bands and artists around Scotland that are really exciting to you?
Why Not Festival. We turned up at artist accreditation. We're driving along, and it was just a madman, right? Wearing a Celtic top, singing Celtic songs, and we're like, "Who the fuck is that?" Brogale. Yeah.
That checks out. That checks out.
There, 2 pints, both hands, just sitting there going, "For it's a good dog day." So
aye, that checks out. Yeah.
So just for that alone, not even the fact we love the music, Brogale. Joe, you got any others?
They're probably the most recent band I've listened to as well. I'm trying to think, man, who's on the up and coming.
Swim School just released an album.
See
Their rise to the top has been class.
Yeah.
And like it's just good to see. I don't know, like just see everybody doing well for the Scottish scene. So that's my 2 picks. You know, got any, Joe?
No, I agree with you, man.
I don't know if Joe listens to music.
Yeah, of course. Chef, 100%.
Yep.
Chef the Rapper.
And I can guarantee when he said Chef the Rapper, even if he wasn't, stood looking over us right now.
He's got his fist like that.
Chef, any comments?
No.
Well, thank you guys so much for this. It's been amazing. This has been Jake for Hive Magazine here with Dictator. Be sure to check out Middle of the Road. Be sure to be streaming all the songs. And as soon as America sort their stuff out, be sure to get them booked in America again. And he promises he won't be bad this time. Peace.
No phones allowed.
Thanks.